Okay, welcome to our July 9th call. See, time is flying so fast. I still am living in June, but yeah, July is here. Today's call is all about dropping what you should be doing in honor of following what you could be doing, okay? So really releasing the word should from our vocabulary. So I'm going to chat a little bit. Luckily, you don't have to listen to me all call today, probably just about 20 minutes, and I'm going to open the floor for some group discussion. And then we have one of my favorite human beings named Sarah joining the call, and she is a photographer. And she will be joining us to really chat about doing branding photos in a way that feels good to you, right? Because we all know there are many blogs, there are many coaches, there are many people telling you what you should do in a branding photo shoot. And for many of you, this is your reality right now. You're like, ooh, I think I need to get some pictures to share myself on social media, or maybe I'm building a website soon and I kind of need some images to showcase my magic, right? Nobody knows how awesome you are. You need to come up with visuals and different diagrams and different pieces of content to show your amazing qualities and benefits of working with you. So obviously one of the ways to do that is through photos. And I wanted to bring on Sarah because she's more than just a photographer. She is a very savvy entrepreneur. Like, I have watched her just totally like skyrocket the success of her business. So I'll do a proper intro when she logs on around 4 p.m. Eastern. But for now, I just want to say a quick welcome. We have a few new people joining the call today. Obviously, the topic was interesting to a few of you. So AJ, do you want to quick just say hello and let us know where you are and what you do? I know you just went off camera, so.
Yeah, no, not a problem. I just got something in the background here, so I'm like, I'm just going to pause. So I actually am originally from Calgary, moved to Toronto. I used to work with Steph at Good Life, and she kind of gave me the head start of everything that I do. So I do personal training, fascial stretch therapy, and overall holistic health and pain management.
Amazing. And you and I had a chance to chat a few weeks back, and I'm very inspired
We did.
by you and your passion for all that you're up to. So thanks for joining us today. And
my pleasure. Thank you for having us.
I see Rebecca on the call. Do you want to introduce who you are, where you're from, and what it is that you do for your work?
My name is Rebecca. I live in Calgary, Alberta, and I work with manual therapy with my clients, as well as fitness and conditioning coaching for them as well. So fitness has always been a part of my life, and I now like to give it back and help people reach their best versions of themselves as well, hopefully pain-free.
Love that. Love that. Yeah, sorry, we have two Rebeccas on the call. Other Rebecca, since you haven't been here in a while, do you want to quickly reintroduce yourself?
Hey, yeah, no need. I don't need to, but I wasn't sure who you were talking to. So
no, go for it.
Oh, you want me to introduce myself? That's nice. Yeah, I'm Rebecca. I took Visionary Method way back. I don't even remember. I think it was 2018.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 2018, a couple of years ago. I've shifted a lot since then, but I now am a parenting coach, and I use human design to help families map out their family energetics. And I have a lot of other tools that I use along that, but I'm a one-on-one coach, and that's kind of what I'm focusing on right now. So a lot of evolving with COVID, and just also, as an entrepreneur, it's a long journey, but thanks for having me, Kelsey.
Mm-hmm. Of course. I love having you on the call. You are an OG student, so it's so nice to have you here. And I love that you share honestly, like, things have evolved so much for you, but it's been so cool to just like watch you honor that process and know that for all of us, like, where we are now is likely not where we're going to be in 6 months. So get used to starting something, realizing, oh shit, that's actually not what I'm here on earth to do. I need to pivot. And then you go to the next thing, and that gets you one step closer to really finding like that thing that lights you up, that thing that people start to know you for. So thanks for sharing that. And then we also have Celine. I don't want to pronounce your name wrong. Celine, introduce yourself.
Perfectly. I'm very surprised. Thank you for that. And thank you to Steph for inviting me on this call. She brought a crew of us, it looks like.
Yeah.
So yeah, my name is Celine. I also live in Calgary, and I am certified in holistic nutrition. I really work with the mind body as well. And I work with women who struggle with hormone challenges. So PMS, menopause, infertility, those, and endometriosis, like all of those common PCOS, things like that. Well, that's really what I want to share. Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Perfect. Yeah, we're excited to have you. And I'll just give a huge shout out to Steph. Steph is someone who I'll call like, a super connector. I think there's actually a book written on people like you, Steph. Like when you find something, you love sharing it with others. And I love that personality trait. And I think that really is such a cool characteristic that you possess that we can all learn from, is that you share your knowledge so freely. You share what you're up to in such an enthusiastic way that it actually like attracts people to you. So just want to give you a huge shout out. So thanks, Steph. Okay, so we're gonna quickly do some wins. So if anybody has something they would like to celebrate, I like using some of our calls, and because we only meet once a week, it's, you know, we want to get caught up on what each other are up to. So if you ever have something that went really well in the last 7 days, or something you're proud of, or something that you haven't told your partner or your parents or the people you live with because you think they won't care, we care. So I would love to hear, does anybody have any wins that they would like to share with this community? Totally open forum here. And let us know what's been going well for you over the last 7 days. You can either type in the chat or unmute yourself.
I'd like to share.
Go for it.
So Celine and I and a couple other girls have actually got the Root to Rise virtual retreat launched. It's going to be running on the 25th of July, and we're very, very excited about it. It's going to be bringing Kundalini yoga, breath work, holistic nutrition with Celine, and mindful movement with myself together, all in the safety of people's homes, and just bringing people together to explore different natural healing and optimal living kind of modalities. So we're very, very excited, and it's going pretty well. We're getting a lot of signups, a lot of good feedback and sharing. So I know Selena is just as excited as I am, but yeah, if anybody's interested, shoot me a DM and we'd love to chat about it. But just wanted to share how excited we both are. And yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that, because, you know, putting together an event like that is no small task. So I think it's very inspiring for all of us to see you all attack this and go for it. Celine, do you want to unmute and share what you typed in the chat?
Yeah, we're really excited about it, and it's a free event, by the way.
Yeah.
I am doing more workshops for RBC, another one for CIBC, and I just booked like companies that I don't even fully know more about, but more corporate wellness workshops all throughout the summer. So that has been a dream, and it's going very, very well. Big win. And it's nice that I get to share, because yeah, not everyone cares outside of that world. Yeah.
Yes, I totally feel you. Like there was a couple-year period where I was like, does anyone even give a shit what I'm doing? Like I don't have that space of people to just share like, hey, I actually got a client yesterday or anything like that. So that's why I like to do this. I think it's super important to celebrate. And even if you come to the call with no wins and you're like, I had the shittiest week ever, at least you can sit in and like soak up somebody else's win and I don't know, feel that energy from it.
Totally. Yeah.
Priyanka, would you like to share?
Hi everyone. So I started a food brand in November, and a lot of it is giving out free samples, doing these pop-ups, markets, and kind of raising awareness about our product. And we did some markets in winter, and we were really excited to do a lot of them in summer. But because of COVID, we thought it's not going to happen. This is a market we had registered, but we thought it was going to get canceled. But it is a really big market here in Toronto, and it is happening. I have never made that many energy balls before. We're making around 1,200, and it's exhausting and huge, but I'm excited that I can, share that avenue, and like maybe people will try our samples and get the word out.
Holy crap, 1,200 energy balls. Take a picture of that when you're all done and post it in the group. We'd love to see it. Good luck. Alyssa, do you want to share your win?
Sure. So I'm developing a coaching program, and I've been looking for a couple people to do like a free version of it with me as like a test, and also to get testimonials. So I finally got my first person who is interested in doing it. So I'm really excited to start working with her next week.
I love hearing that. And honestly, the hardest client to get, whether it's paid or unpaid, is always the first one. Once you have one, you're in that momentum, you're working with someone, it becomes real. So I think you just got through a major milestone. Congratulations. And I know Becky posted a win in the Facebook group. So maybe as our last win of this call, Becky, do you just want to quickly share what you posted in the Facebook group?
Yeah, I guess I'm the third Rebecca in this group, but I'm Becky. Well, you probably don't even know me as Rebecca, but I told my boss that I'm going to go part-time starting August 1st, or that first week of August. It's not only a win. I don't like make any money or anything. I just got I'm so fed up with that, and I need some sort of push to like focus on my business, because right now I'm so comfortable with a steady salary and I'm not really focusing on what I want to do. So I feel like getting rid of a bit of my safety net will help maybe. So that's something that I'm excited about.
I think it's a total win. And like you said, you need that nudge. And I think that this will give you that extra little push. So yeah, like Priyanka said, very brave. It's not an easy conversation to have. And I think you hit that point though, where you knew it was right in your gut. So congrats. And Jasmine, do you want to quickly share, and then we'll wrap it up for today?
Yeah, sorry, I just wanted to share this one quickly. So I had mentioned on the last call that one of my friends had reached out and wanted some help organizing. They moved in a while ago and their house is just kind of all over the place. And for those of you that don't know, my plan is to start an organizing business. So I went over and just kind of gave her some tips on like what I would do and what I thought, and she's been doing it, and she's like texting me all the time being like, it's so great, like I'm feeling so good. And so it was just really nice, like not paid or even really a job, but it was just more, it felt good.
So awesome. And I hope you're like screenshotting some of those testimonials that she's giving you, because hey, again, this is someone who's utilizing your brilliance to make a difference in their life. If she's texting you all these emojis being like, I've never felt so organized, like hold on to that. That is a true testimonial to your work. So that's pretty awesome.
I didn't, but I'll go back and do that.
Excellent. Yeah. Quick reminder for you.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you to everyone who just shared there. I think, if you didn't share today, think of something for next call if you want. And again, if you don't have any, that's fine. Just soak up what everyone else is up to. It's always very inspiring to hear what's going on in all of your lives. Okay, so I'm going to flip over to our mini training today. Again, Sarah will be logging on shortly, so I just want to make sure that I leave lots of time because she is totally awesome. So, a couple more people joining. I'm just going to disable the waiting room just so that I can. Okay, there we go. So focus of today's call, and it was actually inspired by Sarah, because as I was chatting with her, I was like, I really want to introduce you to the Visionary Method students. Like, she has so much to share. And I said, what do you want to talk about? Because I know that she has lots of expertise. And she said, you know what? I kind of want to talk about dropping what you should do in a branding photo shoot in honor of just really tuning into like, what do you actually want out of this? What do you want your photos to represent? How do you want your clients to see you? And I was like, yeah, that's so amazing, because anytime I have worked with Sarah, I felt like she never pressured me to say, well, you're a marketing coach, so why don't we sit at a desk and have like your glasses on with paper and pen and your photocopier in the background, like whatever the case was, right? She was more like, who are you as a person? What is your brilliance? What do you do when nobody is watching? What are those quirky characteristics that not many people know about you? And she's asking me these questions, and I'm like, I thought you were just going to tell me to sit at a table with my laptop. Like, I'm mind blown here. And then I get into a photo shoot with her, and I realize that she has basically scrapped all of the rules behind what a photo shoot should be like. And I'll just quickly share too, but I'll do this in my intro with her. She also shot when Dave and I got engaged. I called her. And again, it was like the most opposite thing that I thought an engagement shoot would be. She had us like laying in the dirt, and running around the street we live in and like going into shops and coming out holding hands. Like it was totally quirky. And I love her perspective on really finding out who we are as people and like honoring those characteristics that maybe you've kind of forgot about you so that your clients can see that within you. So that inspired the topic of today's call, dropping what we should do in favor of what you actually want to do. Little lesson in business. So it's super important to distinguish what you could do, should do, and actually want to do. But this is something that growing up, I don't think we often differentiate what those different words mean. When we say, I don't know, feel like we need to be married by 25 years old, is that something that you should do, could do, or actually want to do? And this goes for all milestones in life. This goes for how you choose to build a business. Somebody tells you you need to have a ClickFunnels account, which is like this crazy fancy software that costs hundreds of dollars a month. Okay, so you see these marketing gurus and they say you should have ClickFunnels. That's the only way to grow your business. But is that the reality, right? If you follow that, is that what's going to lead you to success? So I want to caution you that when it comes to doing a lot of things that you should do, it often results in failure because it's not authentic to who you are and how you're meant to build this business. You might be following a formula that is simply not great for promoting your business and sharing your services with the world. So my recommendation, and we're going to go through an exercise, is to actually swap out the word should with could, okay? So you do not need to get to a place of completely, you do not get to a place of complete enjoyment and love for your business by listening to all of the shoulds, but rather by listening to yourself and asking, what do I want and what do my customers want? So again, listening to the shoulds is going to lead you to a place of resentment to your business because you're going to think you have to do things a certain way. You have to follow a certain framework. And that often takes the fun out of business because you're not following what feels exciting and what feels good. So I really want to take that barrier and kind of break it down today. So I would love to hear in the chat box, what do you feel like you've been told that you should do in order to have a successful business? So sit with that question for a moment, and if something comes to mind, type it in the chat. Or maybe you're like, I've never been told anything. I'm just open book here. But for some of you, I'm sure that you've encountered marketing messages, you've encountered previous coaches or mentors, and something has been told to you that you should do. Okay, cool. So Sandra says you should have an Instagram following. So that's an interesting one, right? And right away, I'm going to flip that to you could have an Instagram following. There are also so many other ways to connect, to share your brilliance, and to get clients. And I always come back to, yes, great to have an Instagram following. What if none of those people were actually paying clients? I always say I would rather have 100 followers on Instagram and 100 paying clients than 10,000 followers on Instagram and no paying clients. So yeah, it feels like maybe we should have an Instagram following, but if none of those are paying clients, wouldn't your efforts be better spent elsewhere, right? Couldn't you reach someone on another platform where they're actually going to convert into a paying client? Oh, you guys have lots in here. You should write a 30-page business plan. This one's interesting as well. I think, you absolutely should have some form of written plan or typed plan. But I have talked with so many entrepreneurs on the Visionary Life podcast who said, we never wrote a plan. We just followed each little nudge, each little next step. Like, we signed the lease and then we figured out what the shop title was going to be. We, you know, like launched the website without even really knowing what our services were, but we wanted to just start sharing a blog, right? That would be totally going against having a comprehensive business plan. So yes, we walk through writing a basic business plan inside the visionary method, but do you have to? I've learned that no, it's not absolutely necessary. Some people are better to go with the flow. You should have an email list. That's an interesting one. Sure, you could, but what if you had your clients' phone numbers, right? Like there are other ways you can connect with people. You should have a beautiful website. Do we think that you need that? Because I know people who have very large businesses who have zero website. They send Google documents. In fact, the largest purchase I ever made in the last 5 years was by somebody sending me a Google Doc saying, this is how the coaching program works. We don't have a website. We just have a fucking awesome community and, you know, come be part of it. I didn't care about a website. I didn't care about the social media following. I didn't care about fancy landing pages and email list, social presence, all of that stuff. I wanted to connect with a real human being. I wanted to see that the person I was talking to had what I was looking for in a business coach, you know? So there's all these shoulds, but at the end of the day, a lot of that stuff is covering up what makes your business, right? It's kind of like layering on a lot of junk that doesn't allow people to see who you really are. And for most of you guys, people are buying you. They're not buying a website. They're not buying a big email list. They're not buying your big social media following. They like you, right? So if you're just doing all of these things that you should be doing, you're actually just building a wall up between you and your potential client, and they can't see through the noise. But when you tear all that stuff down, you do things that you actually want to be doing. You say, yeah, I could build an email list and that excites me. Then your clients, they end up looking at you and going, wow, I can really see through. And I understand exactly what this person offers. So yeah, lots of good answers there. I'm just going to read through a couple more. You should have lots of content, says AJ. Yeah, that's an interesting one too. It's like the quality versus quantity. You know, I'm a big fan of people who put out quality content less often. And I think in a world where we are inundated with so much coming at us through Instagram, Facebook, blogs, podcasts, less is more. Like be concise with your word, get it right, and maybe put it out once a month, once every 2 weeks, right? It's easy to fall down this rabbit hole of thinking there is so much that we should be doing, but it really doesn't serve us because we cannot do it all. And when someone tells us we should follow a certain process and we make one small error, you're trying to set up an intense sales funnel, you make one error and the process doesn't even work and you think you did it wrong. You didn't do it wrong. You did it just fine, but you were trying to copy what someone else said you should do rather than sitting back and going, does this make sense based on who I am, how I want to connect with my customers, how I want to show them how fun I am or inspiring I am or educational or informative I am, right? So you make that error in their process because they told you should do it. And then it all goes to shit and you think you've failed. But that's just because you're following what somebody else told you should do. You can't mess up marketing. You can't mess up selling if you're doing it in a way that feels good to you, if you do it in a way that only you could. A lot of people, like I said, they think you should have a fancy website. I debunked that right away. Like I told you, like I've made purchases with people who don't even have websites. The feeling like if you're a nutritionist, you should have photos of you with green smoothies on your website. But it's like we talked about last week, like, does that make you different? Like what separates you if you're doing what you think every other nutritionist should do? I have a personal story of a client I've worked with over the years, and against a lot of my advice, she decided to invest in the ClickFunnels. And then when someone would tell her, hey, Jane, you need a speaking coach, you should have a speaking coach, she would invest in the speaking coach. Hey, Jane, you should pay for this follow unfollow app. And so she would invest in the follow unfollow app. And there was a lot of people telling her, in order to sell more of your product, you should do this. And I'm like, you know, you've got something magic. You don't need to listen to them. But again, she loved following these new trends. And at the end of the day, like, I watched her invest in so many of these systems that made no sense for her business, and it didn't get her anywhere. It didn't lead to any success because she forgot about where her customers were even looking to buy her product. So question 0 for me always becomes, if I see, you know, maybe one of you sets up a really fancy email campaign and you send it to me, and I think, oh, I should have an email system as well. I should be emailing my clients. Well, at that point, come back to question 0 and ask, well, why am I doing this? Do I think it's going to allow me to connect on a deeper level with my customers? Do I think that, you know, I'm going to enjoy emailing my clients? Do I think this is going to help me grow it a bit in my business? So I have this posted on a sticky note on my desk at all times. Why are you doing this? Before I answer emails saying yes to people, why am I doing this? If you just feel like you should be doing it, I guarantee you it's not going to produce the results that you want. Okay. Let me just see. Did Sarah join our call?
I'm here.
You're here. Oh, you got lost on my screen. Okay, so that is my mini queue up to a topic that Sarah is actually going to introduce a little further. So Sarah, I already gave you a lot of love at the beginning of this call, but just to reintroduce you, you and I have known each other about 4 years perhaps, and I think we've worked together on at least 3 different occasions, and I've always just been blown away at how you never made me feel, whether it was Dave and I's engagement shoot or whether it was my most recent branding shoot, you never made me feel like I had to do something a certain way. You weren't like, oh, you guys are engaged, why don't you sit on this blanket and cuddle and hold hands? Like, that's not Dave and I's relationship, you know? Or in my branding shoot, I was saying before you logged on, you never said like, why don't you just sit at a desk and like pretend you're typing on a computer? And you had all of these wonderful ideas and different perspectives that made me realize, oh my gosh, like, you're extracting who I really am beyond the titles, beyond the person who calls themselves a business and a marketing coach, and saying, like, do it differently. Show people through these photos what your magic is, like what excites you, like go on this swing and start swinging around because you're playful, you're fun. And I really admire that quality, and I see it through all of the photos that you do. So beyond that too, I want everyone to know that Sarah is also a brilliant business mind. Like, she's amazing behind the lens, but you can listen to her podcast, the Shine and Thrive podcast. She also has so much perspective on growing a photography business from, you know, like having maybe a couple clients the first year you were in business to then being like fully booked solid and growing this into something that is beyond yourself. So I know you have so much wisdom, so much experience to share, and I know that everyone on the call today is super excited to hear from you. So welcome, Sarah. Hopefully you can do a little quick intro, and then I'm going to pass it over to you to share your magic with us.
Sweet. Thanks, Kelsey. 2 things I have to say. Nice tan. 2, I had to write down what you just said that was on the sticky note. Why are you doing this? I'm like, oh yeah, that's a great sticky note on the computer. So thanks for that inspo. Thank you everybody for joining. It's good to have you all here with the AC, right? Because it's so hot outside. But I'm really excited to dive in. And actually, Kelsey, I ended up like, I had so much that I wanted to share, and I'm like, you know what? This needs visuals. So I actually do have a slide deck. So
I would love that.
Do I just click share screen?
Yeah, it should be open to you. Otherwise, I can make you the host if you don't see the green button.
Okay, share screen. Sweet. Oh, host disabled, participant screen sharing.
Going to make you the host.
Sweet. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna click present and then just let me know if you can see.
We are good to go. We can see your
Okay.
slides.
Sweet. Except it's loading. That should be fine. Okay. Sweet. Okay. So I love everything you said already. And now I'm excited to just share some insight with you guys, because I know as you guys are building your businesses, this is like a big part of, especially having online businesses, you know, showing up, showing your face so people know who you are, so they can connect with you, all of that. So quickly, I'm just going to dive in and say, I mean, Kelsey already amazingly introduced me. I really appreciate it. But I mainly specialize in documenting weddings for free-spirited and sentimental couples. And then on the back end, I do photograph branding sessions. I just don't market them. I choose to do it by word of mouth so I can keep my marketing to as simple as possible, right? The more you focus on one thing, the easier your life gets. So that's kind of what I do. But as Kelsey mentioned, I love extracting who people genuinely are in their souls, and, you know, inviting them to just be as they are in their branding sessions, just as I do for wedding photos, couples photos. I do that in branding sessions as well. So some common questions that I get for branding sessions are, what should I wear? What location should we shoot in? How should I do my hair and makeup? And these questions are obviously great questions because, I mean, you care about your session. You want the best results possible. You're asking the person you trust, the photographer, for advice. So there's nothing wrong with these questions, but I think it's so key to choose the right photographer that will allow, like, will answer those in a better way. So my response to these questions is, what do you feel best in and what do you wear all the time? So for example, I know some people say, oh, I better go like outfit shopping for the shoot, right? But guess what? Your closet is already filled with all the stuff you wear anyway that reflects your personality. So why spend more money on that when you already have that in your closet? And I think one thing that we need to remember as business owners is the way we show up online. If we're not really feeling in tune with ourselves, I think people can sense that intuitively. So if you show up to a shoot in an outfit that you feel like you should wear, your energy won't come out as naturally. But if you wear an outfit that you wear all the time, you already feel comfortable in it, you feel your best in it. So your energy will kind of shine through. So that's one thing I definitely recommend. For location, I ask what location reflects who you are or makes you feel like you're in your element. So let's say you work from your home office all the time. That would be an amazing place because it's authentic to who you are. It's authentic to your business. If you're someone that adores nature, loves being by the water, loves being by the beach, and you want to show that part of your personality so that you connect and attract clients that love the same thing, then we can go to a location like that. So that's kind of how I approach picking a location as well. And then this question is huge because I feel as women, especially, there's like so much pressure to feel like we have to do our hair and makeup all the time. And even to this presentation, I'm not going to lie, like the whole day I was just like, this was my outfit, like no makeup, hair kind of whatever. I did it yesterday, but it's like shitty today. And I'm like, oh, maybe I should show up a little more professional. I'm like, no, this is me. This is who I am. So I always have to remind myself that, but over the years it's become so much easier. So I definitely recommend, like, if someone does their hair often, because that's how they are, they're feminine, they enjoy that about like living life, then do that. If you don't do your hair often or your makeup at all, then I would suggest just doing a very light version of makeup, literally just like mascara, a little bit of blush, and that's it. Maybe not even lipstick, and just curling it a little bit. I even have done shoots where people are like, I just never wear makeup or do my hair. And I'm like, let's do that. And let's just celebrate that. And let's give other women, when you show up on social media, let's give other women permission to run their business without doing their hair and makeup either, because it's so doable. So that's kind of like my response to those things. And so this is a huge belief of mine. So I believe that the word should kills our ability to listen to our own intuition and our spirit of what we want. And I think this touches perfectly on Kelsey's point of, why am I doing this, right? So if you ask yourself, why do I feel the pressure to put on a lot of makeup, right? If your intuition feels like something's off about that, then if you simply listen to that, then your session will come out with results that are aligned with you, and you'll be happier with them, because you'll look at the photos and you'll be like, that's so me. I remember once back in high school when I tried modeling for like a year, I went to this shoot. They dressed me up. They put like so much makeup on me. I'm like, this doesn't feel like me. And then they put lipstick on me, and the lipstick went over my lips. I'm like, oh, but you went like over my lips onto my skin. They're like, oh no, that just looks better. And I felt like shit. I was like, I don't feel confident. When I looked at the photos, I was like all like modeling, and apparently I'm supposed to look and feel good, but I felt like so not in my element, so not myself. So after that experience, I really want to empower people to just like find the beauty within themselves. So as a result, when we don't listen to our intuition of who we really are, we feel less confident to let our true selves like shine unapologetically online, through our website, with our clients. And like, to me, that feels like living in a cage. And I always like ask entrepreneurs this. I'm like, didn't you get into business like as for one of the reasons for you to be more free, for freedom, right? Of course we get into business as well for like maybe not having like a what's it called again, a ceiling on or oh my gosh, you know what I'm talking about.
Glass ceiling?
Glass ceiling, thank you. I'm like, I know it's see-through. Yeah, so I know that like maybe the glass ceiling is like one of the reasons we got into business, to be able to make as much money as we want. But I know I also wanted to live life on my own terms. So why would we put our authentic selves in a cage? So as soon as I let myself simply be me online, I noticed so many amazing things. So first of all, my ideal clients were more drawn to me. They were just like, oh my gosh, I feel like we would be best friends. Then they were booking me because they felt already so comfortable around me. And I also felt more comfortable around in my skin, not just with my family and friends, but also online and with my clients, which is just, I think it's just the dream. So this is what comes to mind, because I think we're scared when we show up online, right? When we post that Instagram photo, when we go on our story, what will people think? And this is a natural thought that we will always have. And one day this kind of idea came into mind. I'm like, why are we always scared of the negative judgments? Why can't we always focus and know that no matter what we do, people will always judge us in a positive way, no matter what we do ever? So if I show up on my Instagram story and I talk about how I just farted, because I do that sometimes as a joke, because I'm goofy and I love to make people laugh, some people will be like, ew, like I can't believe she just did that. And some people will be like, oh my God, I love her, she's so open, right? So why not focus on, okay, let's simplify things. Let me just be me. Whatever comes out of my mouth comes out of my mouth, and people will love me anyway. So I use this mantra constantly, and I'm not perfect. I have moments where my confidence kind of goes down, but that's just the natural ebb and flow of life. So this always helps me. And like I like to say, how boring would life be if everyone was the same? So here's this hilarious photo that I shared on my Instagram, just because I'm like, you know what? I'm going to not take myself so seriously. I'm going to make some people laugh. And maybe it's a little awkward for some, but maybe some people really enjoyed it, right? And then this is the more Instagram worthy photo, right? And yeah, so you are unique, and that's what needs to shine. So some examples of some things that I have done on sessions, and I'll show you guys actual photos from sessions that I've done for others next. So no makeup and me in my PJs. So this photo on the left here is me literally no makeup, hair not done, barefoot, PJs. This is how I actually look when I work at my desk. And I think like, for me, it would be so refreshing to be able to see more people show up this way on Instagram. Like, just show us how you actually show up, right? I also did one photo where I was just like, it started raining and I was barefoot and I ran outside and I started splashing the puddles, like dancing, meditating, all of those things. And so this here is an example of that there's no right or wrong way to do a session. It's whatever speaks to you. So on the left, in that like chapter in my business, I specifically wanted some more more clean, put together photos with a neutral background. And that's okay, and that's great. And it's so good to just like enjoy, celebrate feeling more put together and beautiful. On the right-hand side is me just barefoot, shooting a wedding, hair back, like drinking some wine. Like, how professional is that, right? So to some people would be like, oh, but that's so not professional for her to have like a glass of wine as she's shooting a wedding. But my target audience, my target market would be like, what? Like, she does that, she's so relaxed, that'll make me feel so relaxed in front of the camera if she's like that. And that's exactly who I'm trying to attract. So now to show you just some examples. So on the left is like a beautiful portrait that's maybe more put together. And if someone is more like classic and elegant, if that's their personality, that would be perfect for them. On the right is someone who likes to, go be outdoors, be in the sand, loves yoga, and that her hair might be a little bit messy, and that's cool too. Here is an example of a session I did for a personal trainer. So this is actually just something that would happen during a session. And here on the left is a girl that I don't even know how to explain it because I've never actually seen anyone do it, but she basically curates plants, and she has clients that buy plants from her, and she teaches people how to take care of plants, which is super cool. And on the right, you could see we're embracing like their lifestyle, their art that they have in their home. Here, another one that's just more relaxed. Another thing that I love to make sure we do is just keep some room, negative space for text, right? So I always keep that in mind. And then here, two different locations, still the same result, which is like them in their element, feeling happy, and you could tell that their smiles are genuine. And I think that's what's really important. And here, Kelsey doing what she actually does in her business. And this reflects that, she brainstorms with sticky notes. And here, yeah, just another couple examples of different locations where people are feeling like their souls are shining and they're being themselves. And that's pretty much it. So I just wanted it to open up to any questions. I'm a total 100% open book. So let me know if anyone has any questions.
That was so awesome, Sarah. So yeah, if anyone has questions, just type question in the chat box, or if you don't want to ask your question personally, then you can actually just write out your whole question and I can read it out. I think it's interesting because I do think, so a lot of people on this call, they're in the very early stages of starting a business or an online business and still kind of going through that discovery process of who am I? And that is a lifelong journey. And I've said this before to everybody that I believe that as you start to self-express more and just become who you really are, the more your business grows. Because when you're kind of feeling like I have to be a certain way, you also feel like you're acting as an imposter because you're not being yourself, and therefore everything feels kind of forced. Mm-hmm. I think it's a tough question to grasp when you really sit with yourself and go, who am I? And will people accept me for that if I show that forward? And I think the point I want to make is that it doesn't come instantly. It's a journey. Like, I'm still trying to figure out how I can share more of like who I am at my core, but it comes. And I think, through working with someone like you, or really with any project in your business, sitting with it and going, do I have to do it like everybody else did it? Do I have to be that nutritionist drinking the green smoothie? Not that there's anything wrong with that, but like, what else is there to you, right? So Sonia, I'd love to hear your question. You can go ahead, unmute, and ask Sarah.
Yeah, do you have any tips for like taking pictures of yourself that aren't selfies? Do you do it? Or were those pictures of yourself taken by you, or did somebody else take them?
Right, good question. So obviously as a photographer, I have a lot of photographer friends, so it's kind of easier to set up a session. And I've also trained my fiance a little bit, like, hey, grab a quick photo of me. But selfies, I think it's a great idea. I think like I see so often, like a lot of accounts that I follow, I actually feel in a way more connected to business owners when I don't see the perfect professional photos. So I think those are great to have for like launches, website, to like break up the feed to have a professional photo here and there. But I think with selfies, it feels more close, connected. And I think it's a great way to involve something quick of like you holding like something that really resonates with you. Like you love drinking coffee, like take one with your morning coffee at your table, or reading a book. You can always set like a self timer on like a little tripod and just play around with it. The number one thing I would suggest though is paying attention to lighting. I wish you guys were on a phone so I could show you. I could show you a little bit actually. So like, okay, here, if I move, if windows are behind me, see how like my face gets all red and like that and not as like glowy. And then now I'm gonna have windows facing me because I have windows in front of me too. So see how much better my eyes pop and my skin looks better. So always, you can actually do this trick, which is amazing. So if you just like, even right now, go like this with your hand, you'll be able to see where your hand gets really light and bright and where it gets really dark and like gross. So wherever your hand looks bright, like for me it's here, then you want to take the photo this way, like facing your hand. So you want to make sure your face is there. So that's like the biggest tip, because lighting does really make a difference. And other than that, like when taking selfies, don't overjudge. Like take like 10, like feel, like do your expression that you feel is good to you, but don't nitpick after. Like the worst thing you could do, because we can all find imperfections in all our photos of us, right? So one thing that I do is I don't sit around. If I'm going to take one, I'm not like, okay, 50 photos and then nitpick every single one. I just quickly, I'm like, okay, I have 1 minute to pick one, the one that just feels like most like me, and pick it and just go with it. So I hope that answers your question.
I think, like, Sarah, you're someone who's very inspiring to follow on Instagram and Instagram stories, because you do actually take us behind the scenes. And at one point, I don't know if you're still doing that, but you're like, I stopped using filters because you're like, I want you guys to see me. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's brave.
Yeah, I've actually never used filters on Instagram stories because I could see how it becomes a crutch of like, literally these filters are taking out wrinkles, they're taking out blemishes. And then for you to, think of the compound effect over time. Let's say you use a filter every day for 3 years, and then one day, 3 years later, of course we're gonna have a little bit more wrinkles because we're getting older. You look at yourself in the camera without a filter and you feel even more like shit about yourself. And like, that's not healthy at all whatsoever. And if more people show up with filters on their face and looking more perfect, more people are going to have confidence issues down the line. I think it's a real big problem. So I personally, I'm like, I don't care what I look like. That's my like value. I'm not showing up with filters on Instagram stories for that reason. And again, I think it makes you more relatable. People will feel more comfortable to hire you because they'll feel like you're more approachable, more real, and they will also feel inspired to show up as themselves.
Mm-hmm. That's so true. If anyone else has questions, type them in the chat. I have one question that I think might be on some people's minds, but for someone wanting to do more of an unconventional shoot and just kind of like share more of their personality, but they actually don't know where that would happen. Like, you know, I live in a small apartment, it's not happening there, and I struggle to figure out where else. What would you suggest? Like, if someone can't work with you in particular, how do you find a spot that is going to produce the result that we're trying to achieve?
So I think it just comes down to a feeling, to what you're like, where you feel good, what you're attracted to. So let's say if it is an at-home session, that's easy because you like, it's your home, it's your little place. But if you want to think of like maybe a studio space or an outdoor location, maybe even like there's a place called Mint Room Studios in Toronto that you guys can have a look at. And they have like, they offer like 10 or 15 different spaces that have a totally different look. So there are like some darker ones with black walls. There are some lighter, brighter ones. I did one in like a Moroccan little studio space because I love that kind of vibe. So just go with what just speaks to you and you enjoy, and don't think of how it'll kind of look in the end. One thing that I would say is, like, for example, if you do want your feed to be light and bright because you feel that reflects your personality, then the only thing I would say is like maybe just make sure you choose a lighter space. But if you do feel like you just want your feed to be more in between or darker, just pay attention to the background darkness, lightness, colors, and that will help. But usually like if a photographer, if they kind of know what they're doing and they can really extract a person's authenticity, any location could work. So yeah.
That's comforting too, because I think I've definitely got hung up on it for thinking like, I have to have the perfect setting for this photo shoot. But like you said, like you're going for a feeling, you're going for maybe it's warmth coming from you or activity or friendliness. So I think when you flip the script and think, no, I just want to show people that feeling that I hope to instill in them as if they were to meet me in person, like that could be created anywhere, because you could meet me on a sidewalk down the road and I want you to have that feeling. So why can't the photo be on the sidewalk?
Yeah, exactly.
And how often should we be doing a branding photo shoot in your opinion?
That's a good question. That depends on how often you want to show up online with the photos, with the content, how often you launch, whatever you're launching, if you are launching. So I would I would say like a good way to start off and gauge it would be, okay, it's kind of like a deeper question, because also in one shoot, let's say you book a 1-hour session, usually that gives enough time for 1 location and 2 outfit changes, so you have that amount of variety. So I usually say that lasts you like 1/3 of a year, because you have that variety of the 2 outfits and 1 location. But then you could book like a 2-hour session, which you have 4 outfit changes and 2 locations, so that looks like you had a whole bunch of different shoots, so that could actually last you a whole year. So it kind of depends on how much variety you do get in one shoot. That helps figure out how often you need to do it. I hope that helps.
Yeah, it's super helpful.
And actually another thing that I want to say, so like I think there's a misconception on Instagram and online that you need to also have a ton of variety all the time. You know how like, I don't know, celebrities are like, I already wore that dress, so I can't wear it again or whatever. Or I could see people showing up as business owners online being like, I already showed a professional photo of me in this outfit, so I can't share another one because they'll know it was from the same shoot. I could already see that mindset starting to happen. That's not like, keep sharing from the same shoot. Just kind of like break it up in your feed, mix it up, because it just to keep people's interest, right? But it doesn't mean that you can't keep resharing photos from the same location, the same outfit, because again, the organic reach isn't that big, and mainly everyone's just concerned about themselves, so they won't remember that you actually posted a photo before of you in the outfit from that shoot. So another thing to remember.
That's like it's interesting. That's like a big mindset block that I had to deconstruct. And what just popped into my head was like, why do I always think I have to buy new clothes? Like, I am not a fashion blogger. Like, that's not my. I sit around in the same 4 shirts, reading books about marketing. Like, sorry, that's me. Love it or hate it. And I think again, it's like that reminder that it is okay to be yourself, and if you're not a stylish maven, like it's fine. Don't try to be, because it's going to bring you a lot of discomfort in that shoot.
Yeah.
Sandra said,
I love that you said the same 4 shirts, because I'm like, yep, I basically wear the same outfit for like a week.
100%. Yeah. So it's funny when a photo shoot rolls around and we think we have to be someone totally different.
Yeah.
Sandra commented that she has a photo shoot with you next week. So that's pretty
I'm so excited.
So cool. Well, Sarah is more than happy to work with any of our visionary community members if you are in the Southwestern Ontario GTA area. And she does offer some
anywhere in Ontario.
Anywhere in Ontario. Okay, well, let's open up those borders. So yeah, that is honestly, like, I just can't express enough how comfortable you've made me feel. I think I hate photo shoots until I'm with you, and I just feel like, oh, I can just be myself, and you just get me in all the right poses and make it enjoyable, music on and all the stuff. So it's been such a joy, and I'm glad that I got to introduce you to everybody. So thank you for taking the time to actually share with us your magic. And I would encourage people to connect with you on Instagram is the best spot, but also to browse your website, and then to email Sarah if you have any questions. So
yeah, thank you so much, Kelsey, always for your support. And you guys, just have to say, like, way to go for following your dreams and like starting your own business. Way to go, because not a lot of people do it because fear gets in the way, but you guys are doing it anyway, and that's huge. So just wanted to say that, and thank you guys for tuning in, listening.
Such a good note to end on. Thank you, Sarah. That's really inspiring. So thanks for being here.
All right. Have a good day, guys.
Bye. Steph, her Instagram is Sarah Monica Photo. So I can always share it with you. Okay, before we log off,